It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Sunday morning at 10:06 a.m. on FM News 101 KXL. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
I'm Nick Miles. You're listening to Portland's automotive radio show, Test Miles. Our locally created and nationally celebrated, our team of misfits, rapscallions, and ne'er-do-wells have been assembled to bring you the world's most up-to-date automotive news, reviews, and comment. Let's introduce the team. Father of the show is here, Brad Boyer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good week.
Fantastic. I did a Vancouver day yesterday. I went cruising the gut car show in our painted limo from Lucky Limousine, and then I went to the largest Clark County garage sale and bought a bunch of little Corvette Matchbox cars. Gave one to Sean, too.
And
Perfect
so,
Vancouver day.
In the limo.
In the limo.
I think, Sean, you went cruising the gut, too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I took the vet out. It was a fun day there. We stayed all day almost, and I'm beat from it now.
Sean is our TV producer. He's here for the show. Also, my pal, professional passenger, and the show's producer, Andrew Awesome. Good morning.
Hello, Nick.
How are you?
Fantastic. I did my Pilates this morning and my yoga, and neither of those I did.
Which is hilarious because I know you've pulled you back, and it took you 25 minutes to get into the car this morning.
It seriously did. I'm sorry for making you late. I felt like I was 87 this morning.
Yeah, but you're not.
No, I'm not.
You're only 77.
Yep.
Ollie's here, and he is basically our used car salesman on the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
You sell some cars this week?
A couple.
One or two?
Yeah, mostly this week I started a new diet to lower my cholesterol. After some blood work, came back. My wife is strict on me, so no more greasy food. It's pretty much salads and stuff for me this week. So
welcome to the rest of our lives.
Can you put greasy food on the salad?
No, I wish. She's like a hawk. She won't let me eat anything.
I feel you on that.
Why couldn't I just put like a quick cheeseburger on the salad? Burger salad.
That sounds good.
Or you could put lettuce inside the cheese. All right, here we go. This is a car show. This morning, automotive breaking news. The Northwest Automotive Green Car of the Year is announced exclusively here on Test Miles. And it has been chosen the 2015 Golf TDI clean-burning diesel.
Whoa.
Yeah, the automotive journalists from around the world, and mostly in the Northwest, named the car as the Green Car of the Year for the Northwest during evaluating vehicles at OMS's Drive Revolution, which took place this week. Now, the Fiat 500e, that won the best electric car in the category. The Lexus CT200H took the award for the top hybrid, and the best green luxury car was won by the Mercedes-Benz E250 BlueTech, which is powered by diesel. So 17 cars were evaluated by the team, and those are the winners. Brad, you were there?
I was. Now, none of these were my particular choices. I was a big fan of the e-Golf, although I'm a huge, huge supporter and fan of the TDI. Anything Volkswagen does with that engine is fantastic.
So what would you have chosen for the diesel vehicle of the year?
Oh, for the diesel, I guess I would have gone with the TDI, but my overall winner was the e-Golf.
Right.
I love that.
And then for your electric, would it have been the e-Golf as well?
It would have been the e-Golf, although the Fiat 500 was a close second, but I liked the Golf because it was more of a car. It's a real car. It's
right,
not.
so the e-Golf looks like a Golf.
Is a Golf.
Yeah, it drives like a Golf. The only big difference is it doesn't have any engine sound, and it's powered by electricity. But that's one of the reasons I like about it. But I have to tell you that Fiat 500e, or the Fiat 500 Electric, which just went on sale in Oregon a couple of weeks ago, is my favorite electric car. It's just so good looking.
It's very cute.
It's so fun to drive. It's good looking. It doesn't make, guys can drive it. Doesn't make you look
It's not like the VW Beetle.
Yes. Well, the old Beetle. The new Beetle is much more manly, but it's not like the old Beetle. It doesn't have a flower pot in the front, but it's a fun car. It's fun to drive. It's great to look at. They did such a good job with that interior.
They brought us out a couple of incarnations. That orange one I thought was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't normally go to a dealership and choose an orange car, but in that case, I might just choose that. With a white interior, so much fun.
We did have an experience that shows off some of the problems with an electric car. A guy walked right out in front of us on downtown Portland as we were driving it around. Didn't hear the car coming.
Now, the U.S. government is implementing standards that you have to have a noisemaker in the front of the car. It reminds me back, when cars first arrived in the world, they used to have a guy walk in front of them with red flags. What? wave a red flag when they first came, like in the
You
1800s.
remember that, Brad?
Yeah,
That was Brad's first job out of high school. He would walk in front of the car in the 1800s waving a red flag.
Doesn't the Fit's the only electric car that actually makes sound right now, right?
I think they're all implementing sound. I think most of them have sound now, or the ones that don't will have sound. But Honda's been an early adopter of that system, making sure that they have a noise that sounds like an engine.
Yeah, or little squeak noises like you're backing up when a big truck and it's like beep beep. Because I remember the first time I was like, "What's wrong with this car? It's electric." I'm hearing stuff
Now, you should be able to choose your own sound.
like a Ferrari engine or something.
You know what would be really hilarious is, especially if you had like a little black Fiat 500e, to have the Darth Vader voice. So it would come up.
Yeah, no, we could get that sound effect. We could just record me sleeping with my CPAP. Yeah.
Can you imagine walking down a dark street and having this, and it's like big black, almost looks like a Darth Vader helmet, doesn't it? The Fiat 500e. That would be hilarious.
Isn't it the Abarth, though? Fiat's used to trying to come up with noises. Didn't they take like 15 different sounds to make sure the exhaust sounded just right?
So to get the Abarth sound of the exhaust right, it was 16 different exhaust sounds until they found the one they really liked. And it does sound good. When you start that Fiat
really
500 Abarth, that really, but that's not so much a green car as a performance.
But Fiat's used to going into the sound studio and making noises.
Yeah, a lot of them too. BMW have a whole sound studio of noise that's piped into the car when you drive. So it makes a fake sound for the engine. It sounds really good.
And I think that's a drawback on some of the performance. I drove the Fisker, and there's no seat of the pants feel as you're going 100 and some miles an hour, and that's part of driving a car.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It is. Although I love this sort of the instant torque in first gear. There's no gears obviously in an electric car because it's one motion, but the instant power when you put your foot down to go. But it's quiet. It's dangerous.
That's what I loved about the e-Golf. It was like 199 pound-foot of torque in that electric car. So it zipped you well.
I think the e-Golf's going to do really well. I still have, and I talked to our friend Tim Gallagher from Nissan about this, I still have anxiety when I get into an electric car. I have anxiety as how far I go. I never run out of power. I've never been close. In fact, Tim said that he's only run out of power once in 3 years owning his own Leaf, or 3.5 years owning a Leaf. I've never run out of power. I've never really been that close, but I still get anxiety when I get in the car, like how far can I go? And we talked about this quite a lot at the Drive Revolution event at OMSI last week, is it changes how you operate with the vehicle. When you have an electric vehicle, you don't make unnecessary road trips.
No, and I think drivers in the U.S. will make that transition to hybrids easily. I mean, we've already made that transition. I think it's a big leap to change how you drive. I mean, instead of what you drive, it's how you drive.
Right, and you definitely have to have a second vehicle for long distances and those sort of things. But I like the idea of the plug-in hybrids, like the Ford Fusion plug-in hybrid. I was really amazed when I got into that car for the first time about how much I liked it, and I didn't think I would. The fact that you can go about 20 miles on electricity alone, and then the hybrid engine kicks in, or both hybrid engines kick in. That, to me, is the answer. If you can get 80 miles out of a regular hybrid car, if it's a plug-in version, do 80 miles, and then the gas engine kicks in. So something a little more extended than the current Volt or the ELR, but there isn't anything out there yet.
Well, gas stations, or there should be more fast-charging plug-in charge stations. And when there is, I think people would adopt the electric car a lot more.
I think one of the things is when you look at those very first gas stations, when you saw the very first gas stations, and we had a presentation at lunchtime where the guy showed us, there was one pump, and they used to fill up this big glass chamber in the pump and then empty it in using gravity into the car. And there used to be benches there for people to sit down and wait while the car was filled.
Well, that sounds nice.
And that's kind of how the gas used to be. It used to be a 10 minute job, doing the gas. Soon with natural gas, which is coming to Portland very soon, the local government have just licensed a natural gas station. So with natural gas and also going to electricity, those new fast chargers hopefully will do it in the same sort of time. So we can do that. Anyway, there's a lot to go. There's a lot of things to change. So the winner of the Northwest Green Car of the Year is the VW Golf TDI. Overall winner. The second category, electric, was won by the Fiat 500e. The hybrid was won by Lexus's CT 200H. And also the luxury car of the year for green car was won by the Mercedes E250. Exclusive announcement here on Test Miles. What's on the show today? We are going to be talking to Tim Kuniskis, who is the CEO and president of Dodge Motor Cars. He's going to be on the show telling us about their new 707 horsepower Hellcat and the new Dodge Challenger. That's coming up next. We'll also be talking to Peter Clover, hopefully, from Mobile West about our cars that he's working on, or our Project Discovery. We still have the news quiz to come, and we'll be talking about what we've been driving this week. You're listening to FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles.
It's Test Miles on FM News 101. Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Welcome back to Test Miles on the FM News 101. I'm Nick Miles, and if you like Test Miles, we have a high-tech, comprehensive website where you can get news and car reviews. If you go to TestMiles.com, there you can read about the new Tesla S3X. The $35,000 all-electric car company is bringing a new car that they want to sell you to market. If you want to read all about that, you can go there. Now, if I was to say to you Dodge Challenger, I'm sure your mind would show you pictures of one of the world's most famous pony cars. The name was first used in 1958 when the Dodge Silver Challenger was produced. But the Dodge Challenger pony car didn't arrive until 1969. 1978, the second generation was introduced, and then in 2008, the third generation that we all are so familiar with came along. Until now, that is. Dodge introduces the 2015 Challenger, and they did it in Portland this week, to the hungry international media. Now, you may have seen them driving on the streets. One version of the new Challenger is the Hellcat. Now, the fastest and the most powerful muscle car ever built. Now, Tim Kuniskis, the president and CEO of the Dodge Motor Company, joins us on the phone. Tim, welcome to the show. Why build a monster that is more powerful than the Ferrari FF?
A lot of people have been asking me that. Number one, thanks for having me on, Nick. A lot of people have been saying the same thing, though. And I answer them with, very simply, why not? But all joking aside, the technology has taken us to a point today where we can offer things like this with absolutely no sacrifices. You were mentioning the different generations. If you go back to the beginning of this fourth generation, 2008, we launched the car with a 6.1-liter, 425 horsepower engine. And it was no accident. I mean, in our world, kind of the holy grail of the pony car was the 1970 Challenger with the 426 Hemi and produced 425 horsepower. So when we brought the car back, we could have made it 430, 420, whatever. It was no accident. It was exactly 425. That car at that time got 19 miles per gallon. Now, with the Hellcat, 707 horsepower, runs a quarter mile in high tens with drag radials, and it gets 20 miles per gallon. So I joke around about it, but if you have the ability, if you have the technology to do that with no sacrifices, why wouldn't we?
Right, no, exactly. So fuel economy is improved, and yet the horsepower has gone flying through the roof. This car, this Hellcat, has basically absorbed the muscle car media for the last week or so. Are you getting lots of reactions as everyone drives them around the city?
The reaction to the car has been amazing, and a lot more about the car than actually the horsepower itself. The first news was the horsepower. Everybody got excited about the horsepower. Then we talked about the performance, and we launched the quarter mile times, and everybody talked about that. Well, now everybody's gravitating towards how livable the car is and how 700 horsepower actually can be a daily driver. I said when we first launched the car, this car is not for everybody. But I said that not because there was compromises with the car, but because not everybody really needs that. But if you want it, you can drive this car every single day.
Right, and then you put it on the track, and we put it on the track at PIR this week, and you can have a lot of fun. Although I'm seriously concerned if I was to have one of these cars, I wouldn't get to see my next birthday because it's so much fun. It's really, really hard to keep your foot off the accelerator. But it's not the only model, the Hellcat. I mean, you basically came out with a full line, the Hellcat being the top of the line, the most horsepower. There are other vehicles available in the lineup of the new Challenger that don't have 770 horsepower, and what are they?
That's correct. The Hellcat is really the halo car to really get the attention that we've got an all-new car out there. But there's so much more that's been changed with the car. From a powertrain perspective, we've got a new 8-speed transmission, which makes a huge difference in the vehicle. Not only do we pick up fuel economy, we actually improve the performance throughout the lineup with that transmission. Then if you look at the lineup itself, Hellcat's amazing, but I call the entry-level car, I call it the gateway to muscle cars. The SXT, 305 horsepower, 8-speed transmission, runs 0 to 60 in 6 seconds flat, and you can buy the car for $26,900. It's absolutely an amazing value in a package that, again, is livable. You have a real back seat, and you have a usable trunk. So if you're in the market thinking about something in the 30 mile per gallon range and you need a real back seat, why not look at something as fun and exciting as a Challenger? And then the lineup just keeps growing from there. You know, we've got the RT that we've had in the past, with a 375 horsepower Hemi, our first Hemi in the lineup. 375 in our previous gen car needed a little more performance. Now we've kept the performance of the engine the same, but with the 8-speed transmission, and you know because you drove it, literally makes it feel like we've added 50 horsepower to the car. The 0 to 60 times drop by a half a second, and you still get great fuel economy. And then, of course, what I call, you know, the real bang for the buck sweet spot of the performance segment is our new Scat Pack car. 38.5 for this car. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that's the car. That's the car I want. Is the Scat Pack version of the vehicle. So tell us about it again.
The Scat Pack, again, it's a bang for the buck sweet spot. 38.5 for this car. Previous generations of the car, we did very well with our V6. We did very well with our 5.7 Hemi, and we did well with our SRT. But there was a space in there, $37,000 to $39,000, where we weren't that competitive. We didn't do that well. This car fills that void incredibly well. 38.5 MSRP, 485 horsepower, 475 pound-feet of torque, runs a quarter mile in 12.4, and that's our time, so I'm sure guys like you will get that even better. 0 to 60, 4.1 seconds, so I'm sure the magazines will get it into the 3, and 25 miles per gallon. I mean, it is an absolutely unbelievable package at that price point.
Tim, it is a beautiful car, and you refine the interior, the price extremely competitive. I will tell you, I cannot wait for the minute that these vehicles arrive in the press fleet. I know it usually takes a few weeks after we've had the announcement and the short lead drive that all the journalists got to drive it to get into the press fleet. So on sale date finally?
So we'll have them in dealerships, figure best case scenario end of August, and then the Hellcat following that probably another 6 weeks later.
Excellent. Tim Kuniskis, the CEO and president of the Dodge Motor Company, and I would say one of my new best friends. Thanks so much, my friend, for being on the radio show. We have lots more to come, including Peter Clover from Mobile West. We'll be talking about our Project Discovery and a lot more on this morning's edition of Test Miles on FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with TestMiles.com. Favorite us, tweet us, friend us, love us, all at TestMiles.com.
Sunday morning on FM News 101 KXL, 10:35 a.m., and I am Nick Miles. This is your automotive radio show. In fact, Portland's only automotive radio show, and you can get more information at testmiles.com. You can see exclusive video of the burnout that we did in that 2015 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Nobody else has this footage, by the way. In 2015, the Test Miles team also are producing, or want to produce, a SEMA car. So to get ready for that, we are doing a little project this year. But what is a SEMA car, you ask? Well, this is a very special vehicle that are produced for the SEMA show in Las Vegas. They're not sold, but they are representations of what can be done with aftermarket parts and accessories. So we started our project to get ready to do a SEMA car, and this year we're going to do a 2002 Land Rover Discovery. We're totally revamping the vehicle. The first stop was the mechanicals. We had that brought up to scratch with the guys at Certified Auto Repair in Salem. Next is the interior and the sound system. And to do that, our friend Peter Clover at Mobile West has stepped in to give the Discovery a revamp. We wanted to make the vehicle into the best form of luxury transportation possible for dogs. And Peter joins us in the studio. Welcome, Peter. Let's start with the inside. How are we doing?
Oh, we're coming along great. So far, we've got the vehicle stripped, all the interiors out of the vehicle, so that we can take the headliner out, customize that, redo it, bring it up to 2014, 2015, make it gorgeous. We've got the seats are all out. They're disassembled so we can make patterns for the seats so that we can do our own custom upholstery in the colors and schemes that we want.
Now, we went to, Sean and I went to your shop, and we looked at some of the colors and materials, and we decided that we were going to go with something. I mean, I left it up to you, basically, but we looked at colors that matched the TestMiles logo. Mm-hmm. And we were pretty, I think, saying bold with some lime greens and some tangerines and some I would call them skittle purple colors.
Sure, but that's your logos and your color.
Right.
So let's incorporate some of your flavor into your custom vehicle.
Right, and we looked at the material too. You had some really nice material that almost looks like carbon fiber.
Absolutely, and we use a lot of that today because a lot of newer cars are starting to have a lot of carbon insets and things like that. So you can bring those textures and flavors and colors into the interior of the vehicle. When you're making it custom, you're actually making it more, bring those elements more into the vehicle and
right.
The character and flavor that you have.
One of the challenges that we had was the interior of the car is beige currently, and we're probably going to finish it with black on the outside of the car, so to incorporate beige and black. But then I guess once we started to talk about it in the shop, we remembered that one of the three of the dogs that I have are beagles, and they are beige, black, and white. So I guess it's okay to have beige and black together, right?
Well, absolutely, and black and tan is always a good color combination. It goes with everything, and
it's easy to do. What are we going to do with the flooring?
The flooring in the back half of the car, we're going to do a new rubber texturized industrial flooring material, but have that actually seamed out and made into a custom carpet in the back half of the car so that you can hose it out. You can have dogs that are, muddy and dirty from a rainy day in the dog park, be able to hop in the back and not screw anything up, not even worry about it.
One of the things I think about in my head is, often when you do things, when you replace things in the car, it's really hard to get them to fit as tight as the originals. So do you have tricks to make sure that the seats don't look like they've just been replaced, so, they look like they're new seats?
Well, that's called attention to detail.
That's what you're good at, right?
That's called being a professional.
When you asked that, Peter gave you the look like, come on. Of course.
Well, I'm just stating the things I've seen from less reputable people to do that. So I know it's going to be fine, but that's always the question we have to ask.
No, and our rule of thumb is it's got to be OEM plus. It's got to be factory fit and finish or better.
Right.
That's your goal.
Right.
Anything less is inadequate. So start there.
So now, how does the sound system fit into this? Do you start that while all the seats are out, or do you wait until you finish putting all of the interior back together?
No, actually, we're going to do that in partial stages. Carpet's out. We're running all the audio wiring, the new Audison Prima amplifier, which is a 8-channel digital amplifier with DSP and sound processing in it, so that we can time correct each speaker to the driver's ear perfectly.
So the driver's ear, cool. Are we going to be able to do some music situations or options for the dogs? Can we get in that high frequency? If we're doing it for the dogs,
Well, yes, we could.
See?
But
how
many
times I've been in the car and the dogs have asked me to change the radio?
10.
I don't think they care, Andy, to be honest with
Whatever.
you. The awesome thing now, I don't know if we had sort of talked about this, but I had a conversation in California last week when I was down there for an event with Greg Remensberger, who is I think the chairperson of the Oregon New Car Dealers Association, and they put on the auto show. And the auto show, along with Jeff Fishback, who runs the auto show here in Portland, have agreed to let us display the car inside the auto show this year, which I think they definitely deserve a round of applause. And hopefully you'll be able to join us and show people around the car and show them what you've done and some things that you've done to the vehicle. And the positive side of that is maybe we can have it as a situation where we can demonstrate the sound system somewhat to people. They'll be able to hear that as they walk past the booth. So hopefully you're available to come down and show people around what you did at the auto show.
No, we'll absolutely be part of that. And that's an important thing for people looking at new vehicles. Like, new vehicles aren't always equipped the way you want them to be.
Right.
So you can bring that knowledge and flavor of the customization, of being able to personalize. You don't have to buy the car with the latest tech in it. The aftermarket tech is much nicer than the factory stuff.
So not only are you putting cars together for people who have already owned their car for a while, but people are bringing cars straight to you from dealers that want things changed?
Oh, absolutely. I probably 2 brand new Subarus a week show up to my shop with less than 500 miles to sound deaden the entire vehicle.
Really?
I mean, we see Honda CR-Vs. There are lots of cars. Cars are now made for mileage.
Right.
They're not as quiet and comfortable as they used to be. So
Right.
we address that all the time on a very regular basis.
So sound deadening, audio, and now interiors as well. Soon you guys are going to have a full. Why don't you just build cars?
Well, that's coming.
Yeah, you're pretty close to that already, though, aren't you? I mean, I know you've taken a few cars and really remodeled them and done stuff to them. So.
Oh, absolutely. And fundamentally, I am a hot rodder. I have been since I was 16 years old. I've built vehicles ground up by myself. So that, building custom vehicles, you start in the avenue that, you start, the audio. That's the part that I love most, but you incorporate these other elements into, and yes, Mobile West will become Mobile West Car Audio and Restyle pretty soon, and who knows what that is 10 years from now. We may be building custom cars specifically.
If you're not growing, I always say that you're dying, and you definitely are growing, and your business is out of control. And hopefully you're going to stick around with the next segment with us when we talk about what we've been driving. Tell me and tell our audience where they can get more information and take their car so you can have a look at it and see what wonderful things you can do for them. So how do they get in touch with Mobile West?
Well, you can always go to our website, mobilewestpdx.com, and it gives just a general overview about what things are and what things do. It doesn't sell a thing. It just tells you what's possible. Come on by our shop at 140 Northeast Broadway, kitty corner from the Kia dealership, and come in with an open mind. Tell me what you would like to have happen, and we'll do that.
Can TestMiles listeners come down and act like a big deal's happening? Like if you're in the middle of doing something, like, excuse me, Peter, I'm from TestMiles. I'd like to be serviced right now. I don't want to hear anything in my car.
No, you actually have to hear the audio in a vehicle. That's dead critical. You don't buy anything off a wall. You have to experience it.
Yeah, and that's what we always tell people is go down to Mobile West and experience some of the audio that you have down there because it will change your life. It's not, it's really hard to explain. In fact, I want to explain it. Go do it. That's an instruction.
Yeah.
Go do it. Go listen to the audio. All right, we've got more coming up on the show. We'll talk about what we've been driving this week. We'll also have Peter hanging around for the next segment. And if you're lucky, we'll give you some teasers of some cool things that are going on in town. You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101 KXL. It's a Sunday morning. I'm Nick Miles.
It's Test Miles on FM News 101. Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
It's Test Miles, Portland's automotive radio show with the latest information for whatever you might be driving. And if you have even just ridden in a car, we have stuff for you, even if you don't have a driver's license.
Don't look at me when you say that line.
We have stuff for you at testmiles.com, and we'll entertain you.
Specifically, me.
You can read about the new Jaguar virtual windshield, which they introduced as an idea, a concept. It turns your whole windshield into a complete video game type display when you're driving. If you want to read about that, go to testmiles.com. Full story is online there, plus my Fox Morning News video, which we did with that new windshield. All right, and Peter Clover is here from Mobile West. He's joining us through the last segment of the show. We're talking about what we've been driving this week. And Andy, you handed out some keys to the garage, and you gave me a long-term test drive, which I'll be driving for 6 months, which is the Ram 1500. But let's talk about what you handed out to us.
Well, yeah, because you're greedy. Every week you take 2, so I'm kind of evening that out for everyone. And as a result, we had to kind of skip a week for Brad because we have to offset you taking it for 6 months. So as a result, you're making Brad, you're making Brad schlump it, and he's having to walk everywhere. Nick's got the Lexus LX 570.
He's not. He's driving that lucky limousine hand-painted limo.
Yeah, that's better than anything I have in the garage anyway. Nick, you got the Lexus LX 570 and the Ram 1500 Eco Diesel, and Sean, I gave the VW Golf TDI.
All right, let's talk about the Lexus 570 first of all. This is Lexus' large SUV. It offers a remarkable combination around the city and off-road capability as well. But unless you need all this capability, you might find it a little bit sort of big and hard to drive. I will tell you, it was fun on a day-to-day basis, but it's a bit hard to turn corners at speed. Smooth ride, strong brakes, advanced off-road capabilities are all things that it comes with, and features galore, including on the inside, between the seats, it has a refrigerator. I made Andy put his hand in it today.
Man, I freaked out. I didn't know that I could keep my Capri Suns cold and drive around in style, because if I'm driving around a Lexus, you know for sure I have the Fruit Punch Capri Suns on chill.
5.7 liter V8, 383 horsepower, 6-speed sequential shift automatic electronically controlled transmission, all-wheel drive. It has about a 14 mile per gallon combined fuel economy. This is where it starts to get ugly. Because if you want 14 miles a gallon, this would be the car for you. Its competition are the Infiniti QX80, Cadillac's Escalade, Range Rover, the Lincoln Navigator, and also Mercedes GL. The one thing I do think that it's missing, they used to have night vision on the windshield of this, but that's gone. $83,000 starting price around, and a score of 7 out of 10. And this week also took possession of the long-term test drive with the Ram 1500. This is a Laramie fully loaded truck. It's more like a luxury car than a truck. It's the Eco Diesel version. It handles like an SUV. It has air suspension, can tow 9,200 pounds. There isn't anything bad yet, but I've only had it for a week, so I'm sure once I put it through its paces, we might find something. 3.3 liter V6 engine, 240 horsepower, 8-speed, all-wheel drive, 28 miles a gallon. Doesn't really have any competitors in this class because of the fact it's Eco Diesel. Love the fact that it has its own Wi-Fi hotspot. So, and this is something Peter can do at Mobile West, I'm sure, right? You can put a Wi-Fi hotspot in for someone. But this one comes with a Wi-Fi hotspot, which means that I can sit in the back and I can upload and download things to the internet. The Uconnect system is also pretty impressive from Ram. It's like a mid-size SUV. $36,000, 470 starting price, 10 out of 10 so far. Sean?
I had the winner of the green car, the 2015 Volkswagen TDI, 7th generation of the Golf. It's grown in size, dropped 79 pounds, room for 5, larger trunk than any midsize sedan out there. It's a fun car to drive in the city and out on the corners. The only problem I have with it is it has a little lag at the line. 150 horsepower, 2-liter, 4-cylinder TDI engine. The one thing I loved about this that we don't ever get anymore is it actually had a 6-speed manual transmission in it instead of an automatic. Gets an average of 35 miles a gallon. It's a great car. Mine at Tesla was 28,000. I give it an 8 out of 10.
I think there's a reason it won the Northwest Green Car of the Year, because it is such a substantial car. The press releases, by the way, for all those winners will be coming out on Monday. So you'll see that Lexus will announce the CT200H1, the hybrid, that VW will announce their TDI was the Golf TDI was the overall winner, as well as Mercedes E250 for the luxury green car winner, and then the Fiat 500e was the winner of the electric category, and those press releases will be coming out Monday morning, so you'll see that all over the news media. Have you ever done stereos in electric cars?
Yes, actually, I have a Nissan Leaf coming in next week.
And the stereos that come from the factory, pretty basic, just like any other car, right?
Of course, of course. The car may have technology in the dashboard, but they never sound good. So
there's plenty you can do to upgrade them. Clover is here from Mobile West, of course, talking to us about our Project Discovery, the vehicle that we're doing. Peter, when you do something like a stereo in an electric car, do you have to worry about the amount of power it uses? Because obviously power is a resource in that electric car, and that's what powers the vehicle as well. So if you start putting in big stereo systems that put a big load on the battery, do you worry that the car won't go as far?
Absolutely, and so that's why you have to think of things as a design and the entire vehicle as a ecosystem.
We'll talk more about Mobile West stuff in the next upcoming shows and what they're doing with our Project Discovery. Please visit Peter, go into the shop, listen to audio. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever if he has to spend 10 minutes with you, as long as you walk away out of his shop completely educated on what your car should sound like, feel like, the sound deadening, the audio. It changed my life, and it'll change yours. Peter, the rest of the team, thank you so much. Don't forget to visit testmiles.com on the web. There's loads more information. And, of course, we'll be back next week at 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning with more of the greatest automotive news in the world. I'm Nick Miles.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with testmiles.com.